Broadcasting live, it's Cream Pie Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And now for your hosts, give it up for Josh and Rick.
Oh, yeah.
Another adventure. Here we are. Josh and Rick, two boys, two young whippersnappers with a knack for finding cream. On a Sunday. I tied one on last night, dude. I'm in rough shape. You're going to have to carry the load this week.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're looking colorful over there, though. I like it.
Yeah, man. I don't usually wear this shirt, but I have to go to the gym after this, so I thought I might as well. So it's all
Yeah.
old school World Championship Wrestling, Bash at the Beach 94,
Nice.
WWE.com. Get yours now. Promo code. Go yourself.
Absolutely.
Why'd you tie one on? Were you celebrating? What's going on?
Not at all. No, it's I just had a late night. I broke out the old Super Nintendo system.
Oh.
So, you ever have a Super Nintendo?
No, I never had like I bought a Nintendo 64 from a garage sale. That was it.
Ah, okay. So this is pre that. So this is a jailbroken Nintendo system with every single Super Nintendo game that's ever existed.
Oh, the SNES Classic, the one that came out a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
My parents got it for me for Christmas whenever it came out a few years ago and got like the jailbroken one. So it has every single game, not just the 5 that it comes with. It has like thousands.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that for a couple days. You know, dude, the whole fucking having 2 jobs thing sucks. It's a time suck. The worst kind of suck there is. But
yeah, me and Clive got that a couple years ago. And we actually jailbroke it on his laptop or on his desktop.
Nice.
Because you can't do it on a Mac, but we did it himself. So like, what you actually have to do is download all the games, which is it's too easy, dude. It's almost like guilty to know that I can download 1,000 games that took people months and months to make.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Just to scroll by them and never actually play them. You know?
It's kind of a bummer because those people spent like 2 years developing that game.
Yeah, dude.
On fucking computers the size of this room, and it's like now it's like that and it's downloaded. It's so weird, so weird.
Yeah, because I was heavy into like the Mortal Kombat; those were fun. Just some of the random like Clay Fighter; those were sweet.
Yeah, the fight.
Those are good. Those are good drinking games. If you're sitting around with your buddies and you're just like doing shots, like whoever loses Mortal Kombat, because somebody's gonna lose every like minute and a half.
Yeah,
you know?
Finish him.
It's like, do you want to play? I don't remember the name of it, but you could play as a T-Rex with long arms, or like a giant King Kong, and there's like a blob, and then there's Clay Fighter, and even what is it, Street Fighter?
Yeah,
that game
Street Fighter
is sick for when it came out. That is like so quick reactions and shit, dude. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And then you had to like know the cheat codes and the buttons because there was no like instruction manual. Like you couldn't hit pause and look at the controls, you know?
Yeah.
Where now you can kind of, but who for Mortal Kombat, like who was your go-to character? Like to pick.
I was probably like a Sub-Zero guy.
Sub-Zero, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I like Scorpion and I liked Kano. Big Kano guy.
I like the guy with the 4 arms, but he was so goddamn slow, he was like almost useless.
Yeah.
Or because even like I remember for Tekken, I always picked Paul Phoenix. You ever played Tekken back in the day?
Tekken, yeah. Tekken was the shit.
Like
halfway through the fight, it changes maps. Like you go through a wall and like fall to another map, and then you're still fighting. Yeah, that was so cool.
I remember I had Tekken 2, like the actual game. That was a lot of fun. But then I had Tekken 3 on the demo, and you could play as Eddie, and he did like the capoeira. Like he was constantly spinning, and it looked like he was breakdancing as he was fighting. Yeah, and it was like that's so cool. I'm probably, if I had to choose one fighting game that I had to win in order to save my life, I'm playing Tekken 4. I'm picking Paul Phoenix. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm coming, dude.
Not a bad choice, dude. And then the Mortal Kombat, like the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat game was hard as shit to beat it, like to beat the arcade style, because you have to beat every single person, and then if you die, it's game over. You have to start over. But you have to beat every single person, and then at the very end, you have to fight that with 4 arms, and he transforms into every person. So you have to beat them all in the same match. Like 10 different people. And that's how you win.
it was kind of like a weird phase of video games back then because I even remember the Beavis and Butthead video game where you were just kind of walking through town and like jumping over dogs and like kicking trash cans and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would die 10 times until I got to the second level, and then I'd die right away in the school or whatever. And then I finally got it to the third level, but every time you died, you have to start all the way over. So I'm thinking, how many levels are there?
Yeah.
How many times do I have to master each level just to get to level 8? And I'm like, I'm not playing this fucking game, dude.
It's weird. That's why games were so much harder. Well, not even harder. That's how they made them hard. You know, they made them like impossible instead of making them more intricate. It's just this, you know, you ever play the Lion King Super Nintendo game? That game is hard as shit. It's just like Lion King. It's 2D Lion King.
I remember playing Tarzan for PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
That game was, and you like throw berries at like gorillas and shit, and like you have to run from, it was like you have to run from an elephant stampede, and you'd be like, what is it? What would you call him? Surfing on the trees, where like you'd just be like, you'd be like snowboarding on like the branches, and then you jump to a vine and like do all this crazy swinging shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, dude.
That was cool. Yeah, I had that same game. I had it for PC, that Tarzan game. Yeah, I think back then, so you could rent video games, right? Like from Blockbuster. So they tried to make the games hard enough where you couldn't beat them in one rental period. Like that was like the standard. So we have to make it hard enough where some fucking kid can't beat it in a week or whatever. So that's why they did that. So you'd have to buy it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, then N64 was all Donkey Kong 64, Mario Party.
Mario Party, yeah.
Some Pokemon Stadium. Dude, those mini games in Pokemon Stadium will forever stand alone as like some of the best. Like, you ever play that at all?
I played Pokemon Yellow for the Game Boy Color. That was like the Pokemon game I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit banged back in the day.
Did you beat it? Did you make it to like the final gym or whatever?
I don't even know. I don't remember. I don't remember. I just remember walking around aimlessly, not getting it. Walking through the different towns. What was that creepy Pokemon level in like one of the Pokemon games that made people kill themselves? Do you remember that?
I have no idea, dude.
Oh, they like found the certain frequencies that are the most depressing, and it's the town where all the Pokemon go when they die, like the graveyard for the Pokemon, and they put it in like Pokemon Red or something like that. Yeah, it's like this whole conspiracy theory if you want to go down a rabbit hole online. And apparently a bunch of Japanese kids committed suicide when they got to that level, or I don't know. I don't fucking know. What do I know? Jesus Christ.
Was it Logan Paul or Jake Paul that went to the suicide fortress in Japan and like filmed like a hanging body?
I think that was Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, I think that's how he got in trouble. Yeah.
I think they made a movie about that forest, but I don't know what it is called, and I don't really know if I want to watch it. You know?
What a weird thing to like. It's funny because it's literally the Japanese and the crackers, the whites, are like notoriously known for suicide. But it's in their culture. It's just because it's funny because you don't hear about that in the black community. I mean, obviously it happens and it's an issue, but it's not like what they're known for. It's like upper middle class white kids ODing on drugs intentionally because they're upset, and Japanese because they've dishonored their family. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying today.
What do you know about the Bermuda Triangle? Is that still a thing? Why haven't we fixed that problem? And if not, do we need an ambassador?
Yeah. Who would the ambassador be?
So what is the, it's just, I envision like from the air, a circle.
Yeah.
Or like just a bunch of, the ocean just kind of falls in the middle of this triangle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like extra moons, and there's like purple lightning, and there's all sorts of shit going around.
Right.
And like Christopher Columbus is like still shipping out there. He got fucking lost at one point.
Yeah, it's like a time warp.
I just picture like all electronics stop working, and is that still a thing? Like, do people like avoid the Bermuda Triangle because they don't want to like get sucked into an alternate dimension?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like notoriously the place where everybody wrecks their ship. I don't know. What is the Bermuda Triangle? Does it go from the Caribbean? Does it touch the United States at all? Does it go to like Florida? Like, what does it look like?
For some reason, I want to say it's in the southern hemisphere, but I have no idea.
I have a feeling Bermuda is somewhere near there.
Probably.
Is Bermuda one of the points, or is it a triangle around Bermuda?
I don't know. I thought it was just like a triangle of a spot out in the ocean where everything just falls to shit.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Well, I actually saw this video of all the cable that we have that goes throughout the ocean for internet and stuff. And dude, did you know there's cables that run from North America to Europe under the ocean?
Like on the floor?
I don't know if it's on the ocean floor or if it's just submerged like 100 feet in the ocean. It's probably not on the ocean floor because there's parts of the ocean that are so deep we haven't been there yet. You know, It wouldn't make sense. But I'm pretty sure they just drop them off ships. They go all around the whole Earth. There's cables that run from California through Hawaii to like Russia. It's wild.
I guess I didn't really know how we communicate with the world. I thought everything was just wireless by this point.
Yeah, I did too. But I saw this diagram. It could have been like a theoretical diagram now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this. But I saw it yesterday and I was like, holy shit. It was by this account that I've gotten into a couple fights with on Instagram called Space in a Nutshell. And they're always like reposting puberty. Was it puberty or poobity?
I call it puberty.
Puberty, yeah. And I'm always like, you just shit on puberty's post and you just reposted it. And then they get in this big fight with me. It's funny because they have like 100,000 followers. And here I am arguing with this account on Instagram. They're like, why don't you mind your own business? It's like, dude, I'm a troll. What are you doing? You have 100,000 followers. Don't engage with me. You know?
So my neighbor is a truck driver and like he drives for like plays and whatever. I don't know. He transports sets and that's basically what he does. He's gone like a majority, like 98% of the year he's gone. But he was here over the weekend and he was talking to Emily and at one point he goes, yeah, you should check out my YouTube channel. It's me just kind of exploring around North America. And she's like, okay. So I pull it up yesterday in the car. I'm like, all right, this dude's got 500 videos.
Yeah. Holy shit.
He's got like 1,000 subscribers and it's just like one of his videos is it's like got 200,000 views and it's like if you're a professional truck driver and you're able to do this with no spotters and park it without damaging your rig, you're a pro truck driver. And I'm looking at this like this has 223,000 views.
Jesus.
And he's just showing off that he was able. It was impressive because he had to like back down this ramp that like had walls on each side and like kind of go into it. It would look pretty freaking hard.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at him like my fucking neighbor's beating me in both my YouTube channels combined, and he's blowing me out of the water. And all he does is drive a truck and shows off. God damn it.
Yeah, and you had no idea until a couple days ago he had a YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the most random guy. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Dude, people love those videos though. Like the how-to videos or like the impressive. I saw a video of a guy backing up a truck with a tea bag on the bumper. And he backs it up so accurately, he backs it right to the tea cup. And like does the thing where he lowers the bed. You know, you can like dunks the tea. And it's like, holy shit. That's impressive. He's making tea, you know?
Some of those people that just operate machinery in general, like seeing somebody with like a bobcat or like a backhoe or something. Yeah. And somebody's holding a Corona and they come over and they just pop the top off. Yeah. Like being that accurate, that is so cool. Yeah. Like even, I mean, I'm a safety guy. I shouldn't say this, but seeing people like rip around on like pallet jacks and they're like drifting with them and shit. It's like, dude, I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Canceled. You're fired.
You ever do like three-wheelers or dirt bikes growing up or anything?
I've ridden dirt bikes, but no, not growing up. We didn't have toys like that. Yeah. Would have been cool. I rode snowmobiles a couple times, but they were never like ours, you know? Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. My buddy Tyler, he had like a go-kart that we'd bomb around on. He had a three-wheeler. Yeah. And one day I sat down on it and I was in the driveway. And they're explaining to me the controls, and I've never sat on something like this. Yeah. And the last thing I remember them telling me was, just make sure you use the brake, because if you don't use the brake, you're going to keep going and you're going to hit something. I'm like, okay. So I'm facing left, and like what I have to do is go around the side of his house and go to his backyard and come back. Yep. And his neighbor's house, like there's a raised garden bed, probably 3 feet with just like cinder block things or whatever. Yeah. No shit, dude. I just gunned it. and I went straight into the neighbor's house. I did not turn at all. I went like 0 to 20 miles per hour in like 20 feet and just like shot into this wall. I flipped over into the garden bed. I somehow bent the front tire off. My dad was over for whatever reason and they had to fix it. And my dad's like, literally what you did in 5 seconds, it took 5 hours to fix.
Yeah, dude.
I just gunned it right into the wall. And I was like, I don't know, man. I've never sat on something like this before.
Yeah, how old were you?
Oh, I must have been like 10 years old or something.
Oh yeah, it happens.
It's not like I was like 5, but yeah, I was definitely like old enough that like I should know how to operate something like that.
Yeah, I mean, then again, you never ridden it and you're only 10, you know? It's not your fault. Our friend Blake, he had snowmobiles and stuff, and I lived across the street from him, and his dad, Junior, told me one day, "Yeah, guy, I just got a snow machine. And I had to have been like 13. I thought he was actually talking about a snow machine, like a machine that makes snow. But that's what he calls a snowmobile. So for like 2 years, I thought Blake had a snow machine at his house. And I didn't understand why. But it was just a snowmobile. I was like, don't you have a snow machine? And he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
I mean, I kind of got the inclination that you meant like a snowmaker. I thought that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, apparently people call them snow machines. You know?
Imagine just like sitting in your backyard, just blasting snow.
Yeah.
Just like over your deck. Like how rich do you got to be, dude?
We got enough snow up there, dude. We don't need extra. Fuck that. Yeah, I just like the shovel. You know?
You used to snowboard. Not quite a bit, but you used to snowboard a little bit, right?
Not avidly, but I've been a couple dozen times, yeah.
Were you on the, I've never done it, so like, even skiing I've never really done before, but like go all the way to the top of the mountain, come down, like that kind of deal?
Yeah. There's a really nice mountain in Maine called Sunday River, and it's probably the biggest one in New England. It's probably 3 hours from where we grew up, and they have like a shitload of peaks. I think they have 12 peaks or something like that. But there's this one trail where it takes a solid 25 minutes, and it's not very steep, but it goes all the way across the mountain and shit, and it's fun. It's cool. I say the first time you snowboard, you don't know how to do it yet, so you fall on your ass a lot. So you're like, you basically break your tailbone. But then you kind of figure it out. You just have to lean into the mountain. And you know, like, if you're switching around to your toes, then you lean forward. And then if you switch like this, you have to lean back kind of to like carve the snow. But you don't know that at first. So you're just kind of like, what the fuck? And it's just constantly on the ass, dude. So it's a bitch. And then skis is easier because, well, not, Black Diamond, but learning skis is easier because it's French fries and pizza. You know, the pizza slows you down. I never really mastered braking though. Like for either skis or snowboarding, I would just kind of get to the bottom and be like, fuck, and then just try and brake and just fall over and then get back on the lift. Dude. The other thing that's really hard to do that they don't tell you about, because the snowboard, you pop one foot out. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of because you don't have like the ski pole. So it's not like you can just push yourself back over to the lift. So you pop 1 foot out of the thing and then you kind of pedal like a skateboard, but one of your feet is still like hooked in. So it's weird with your ankle. It's like very twisty and heavy. Like you got the snowboard on one. And then you get on the ski lift and 1 foot's out. So you kind of like rest the snowboard on your free foot. And then you get to the end of the ski lift and there's a ramp. There's always a fucking ramp. Like you have to like, oh shit, here we go. And then you put down the snowboard and slide off the ramp. The amount of times I ate shit at the top of the ski lift just because I was like,
So is it weird because if it takes you 25 to 30 minutes to get down the mountain, obviously you have to take the ski lift up. How long? So it would take you like 45 minutes to get all the way to the top?
Well, that's just one trail. Most are not like that. And that's a really like not steep trail. It's kind of just like a scenic, very slow slope that kind of goes across the whole mountain. And I might be over exaggerating. It's been a long time, but it's definitely several minutes for that one. But most of them, it's like the majority of the time you're either in line or you're going up the ski lift because you go way down way faster than you go up,
I used to, the only winter sports I got into was like sledding. I wouldn't use like one of those dumbass wooden sleds that just look lame as shit, but I would always, we had like the little plastic, like the stereotypical like 2-seater kind of looking sled where
Yeah.
you just drag that thing. You have that thing for your whole life. It just like always looks like a piece of crap. But I remember I would always like try to use that as a snowboard going down because I didn't actually have a snowboard.
Yeah.
And you can't really turn with it, but it did have the rope in the front. So I would kind of like yank it side to side and I would be able to snowboard down a little bit. But
Yeah.
again, that was me at like 9 years old, just bombing around. And
That was fun, dude, because we had some big hills at the houses we lived in when we grew up. So we would make like ramps out of snow and like go over them. My little brothers had cheap fake snowboards, you know?
Yeah.
And they would go down and go over the jump and shit. Or you build like a snow castle or a snow fort, stuff like that. Man, go outside. You're outside for like 5 hours. Those were the days, you know? This was fun.
yeah, I spent a lot of time outside as a kid. Just,
Yeah.
I used to ride my bike like miles and miles every day. And that's like no exaggeration. Like we'd go, so we'd start in Windsor. I'd pick up Tyler and then we'd like just ride to like DeForest or go to the gas station or go freaking, we would just ride everywhere, dude. I didn't have to tell my parents what I was doing at all.
Yeah, same
It was
here.
nice.
I remember being like 12 and going to my friend's house. He lived like 7 miles away, and I would ride my bike there. That's how I got there. And we'd hang out for a day, and then I'd ride back, you know? Yeah. So that's like a 14-mile bike ride, round trip.
Dude.
And it was just like a normal summer day, you know?
I remember I go to my friend Scott's house, and in order to get to his house, you had to go up this giant hill around this golf course. So what I started doing is I would just cut through the middle of the golf course as people are out there. And I'd have like these old cranky bitches like yelling at me and telling me to get out of the way and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
This cuts like 4 minutes off my bike ride and I don't have to go uphill. Because it's literally like you have to go up the hill and then you come down the hill just to go around the thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to.
You're just
I'm just gonna go straight through.
riding down the fairway of a golf course.
Dude.
Doing fucking donuts on the green. Fuck off.
I'm just so glad that because eventually where the green would just go into the regular pavement.
Yeah.
Like it was always kind of like jarring. And I'm just glad that I never got to the point and tried to like hop it and then just like eat it, dude.
Yeah.
And look like a total freaking idiot in front of these people.
Dude, what's more embarrassing than falling over? You know what I do? When I fall over in front of a large group of people, I just lay on the ground. That's how I deal with it. I don't get back up. I take an extra like 15 seconds and just lay there. It's always tough because you're always like, I'm fine. You know, like, what do you do? Like, oh shit. Like if somebody falls, everyone's like, oh shit. And they all stare at them. And it's like, Jesus Christ, this is embarrassing.
Why are you falling? Why are you falling? What's the reasoning?
I don't know, wet floor, slippery at work or something, you know, coming around the corner.
I don't typically fall, so I don't know.
I mean, I've only fallen like 5 times, but they're 5 most embarrassing moments of my life.
I remember in college, I was borrowing my roommate's bike and I had to go through the parking lot to get to Walmart and there was like these 2 cute girls coming. I might have already told the story on the pod, but I'll tell it again. But these 2 cute girls and there was a curb that I had to go over. So usually what I would do is I would come to a stop, lift it up over the curb and then keep going.
Yeah.
Today I decided to hop the curb.
It didn't work.
I didn't hop the curb. Yo, I had never done it successfully, so I don't know why all of a sudden I think it would work. But I get up to the curb and then like in my mind, if I'm standing up on the pedals and I jerk up on the thing. So what I did is I picked it up so it's level with the curb.
Yep.
And then I slammed it down. I popped the tire. I flip over the bike. I like eat shit.
You ate
my,
shit hard.
My elbows are bleeding and shit. And like these girls come over and they start talking to me or whatever. I'm like, well, I guess this kind of worked out. But I was like, I was just so embarrassed, dude. And then I got back to the dorm and I'm like, yo, Chuck, I busted your tire. And he goes, you got to get me another one. I'm like, I was at Walmart, man. I should have got you one right there. So I had to walk back and get him a new tire.
This was in college?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was sophomore year, so I was like, I was 19 when I did it.
Okay, that's worse. I thought you were a kid.
Oh, no. I was a grown ass adult.
You're 19. You're voting age. Going over your handlebars.
I could buy cigarettes, but I can't hop a fucking curb. Or I got to rephrase that. I could have bought cigarettes. Now, with the laws, you can't. Wait, you can't buy cigarettes till you're 21 now, right?
Yeah, I think in most states they made it 21. Yeah.
That's weird.
It's weird. The age thing is weird. I still think it's weird that you can join the military when you're 18 and you can't have a beer until you're 21. It's got to be one or the other.
That's strange.
Yeah, you can die for America, but you can't have a beer. You know? But we want people to be able to join the military, you know? But if your brain's not fully developed until you're 25, you know, then maybe you can't join the military yet because you're not, you know what I mean? It's funny how it's for some things, but not other things. Like, which one is it?
I never bought Spice or like K2 or nothing, but do you think you have to be 21 to buy that stuff too? Because I know to buy weed, you have to be 21.
I think that shit's like illegal now. I don't think you can get Spice anymore or Salvia or any of that shit.
I never did. I mean, we got a friend that used to do Spice quite a bit, and I like scrambled his brains a little bit.
That shit was crazy. I definitely smoked Spice or Salvia, whichever one was like super hallucinogenic. I remember I smoked like a bowl that was 75% of that and 25% weed one day. And I was just sitting there looking at the TV and it was just shrinking. It was like going, and I was like, oh, fuck. It's happening. And it lasts like 10 minutes and it's the scariest 10 minutes. It's horrible.
Yeah, I only did Salvia. I actually did it in the dorms and we shared a wall with the RA. So I blew it out the window, which was kind of funny. But I remember it didn't like fully take effect. Like I didn't trip or nothing, but I remember my brain felt like it was on fire. Like,
oh yeah.
Like my brain was melting and I couldn't really walk very well. I was kind of fucked up, but yeah, I just remember it just gave me like a wicked bad headache. My head was like it felt hot inside my brain. That was it.
Isn't like sage? Isn't it just sage? Like, isn't sage a hallucinogenic? I'm pretty sure it's like a concentrated version of sage.
I'm kind of glad that I've always kind of stuck away from those artificial drugs like the spices and all that shit. Because I don't know, not that I would have had a problem with it, but yeah, I feel like that stuff's got to be so bad for like somebody's in a lab trying to make a drug to get you high. That's unlike any other high. You know, isn't that weird?
The new one is the new version of THC. What's it called? It's like
was it Delta 8 or something?
Delta 9 maybe.
Yeah, it's Delta something.
But it's literally THC, but it's like an artificial version of it or something. Or they use the CBD. They use like the male plants and make them super concentrated and then inject them into like fake weed flowers or something like that. So they're finding ways because it just hasn't been passed. A law hasn't been passed yet because bureaucracy, like red tape, it takes so long for government. You know what I mean? So they're just capitalizing on that for now. But at that point, if you still have THC and you can buy it in the store, like in North Carolina, you can buy this shit, you know? Why not just make weed legal at this point? Like, it's so stupid. What are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, why is weed still illegal in New Hampshire?
I don't know. Did I bring this up a couple weeks ago? I was talking to my buddy Brett in Wisconsin about this.
No, I don't think so.
Like, literally everything that you just said was word for word what our conversation was.
It doesn't make sense.
I texted him or something. He sent me a picture of him smoking or something, and I'm like, oh, is it legal in New Hampshire or in Wisconsin? He goes, no, we got Delta 8. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm Googling it. And I'm like, I just read up on it and I still don't know what it is. He explains it to me. And my response was exactly what you just said. Why not just make weed legal?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point, dude?
It doesn't make sense. New Hampshire is supposed to be, you know, they always tout live free or die. Like, it's supposed to be the freedom, like the libertarian state. And you don't have to wear a seatbelt, but you get arrested if you have a joint. You know, it's decriminalized in a lot of these states now. Like, people don't think it's like heroin like they used to. But dude, Canada federally legalized weed like 10 years ago, and they're doing fine.
Yeah. And
they're way more hardcore with their laws than we are. They don't even have free speech in Canada, but they have legal weed. What the fuck are we doing? Like, who does it benefit to not make it legal? Because that's what it comes down to. These politicians, are they just so old that they still think of weed as like the war on drugs, Reagan era substance that is going to corrupt the youth? So they're like against legalizing it? Or is there some sort of profit motive? Like, are they being paid off by other corporations to keep it illegal? You know what I mean?
I think the problem is that people are set in their ways and that they won't change how they think. So the problem is we need people that think that way to slowly leave positions of power.
Yeah,
You know?
and they're all fucking
Like-
90 years old now.
Exactly. So like as soon as we get somebody in there that's 65 and I used to smoke pot back in the day and it's not so bad.
Yeah.
You know, we need those guys to be replaced because
Yeah.
it's the same. It's the Grim Reaper's freaking starting five making all the decisions for the freaking United States. It makes no sense, dude.
And if making it illegal, well, dude, first of all, it just doesn't make sense because it's not stopping anybody from getting weed. It's not preventing people. Like, it's so easy to get weed. Even in those states where it's the most illegal, it's so easy to get. Like, who are you helping?
I should Google and see how many pot shops are within 5 miles of my house. And I live in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Because I know there's for sure 2 of them within 2 miles.
Yeah. Well, you live on the border, right?
I live right on the border. But I'm just curious because me and Emily even went into Brattleboro yesterday and just did some walking around and just like a different section of Brattleboro, like downtown Brattleboro. And there's like pot shops. And I'm looking around and I'm like, dude, this is like a hippy dippy state.
Yeah.
And I haven't really looked into it, but I mean, I'm sure they've got all sorts of goodies in that little area, dude.
Why would states not want to make a shitload of tax revenue from legalizing weed too? You know, like Colorado did it first and they like had so much more money for like schools and infrastructure and roads and shit. And then it's been how long since Colorado legalized weed? It's been like a decade, hasn't it? And
definitely.
So, and we're still here with New Hampshire. It's still not legal. Like, why? What the fuck is the holdup? Dude, think about how many people we know that were smoking weed in high school fucking 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're saving anybody. What are they doing? Why is it still illegal? They don't want the money? I don't get it.
So I was thinking about it. So say you're somebody that's against legalization and against that whole process. What's your argument?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why?
The kids are getting high. You're going to have more motor vehicle accidents.
Yeah, but the kids are getting high anyways.
Obesity. We're going to get fatter.
Right. But making it illegal doesn't stop anybody from smoking it.
I'm trying to come up with real reasons for why it shouldn't be legalized by this point. And it's like, I get those 3 and I don't know, man. Like schizophrenia. That's true. But
that is true. Yeah. I think I might be somebody that's experienced that, like the dissociation, depersonalization type shit. Cause I smoked heavy one day and I don't think I've been the same since. Maybe that's what caused my,
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a small population of people where it's not a good idea. But then again, it was illegal when I smoked it. It's not like the law stopped me from doing it.
Yeah, because I know for me, I got the little vaporizer box, and you'd put the battery in the side of it, and it would like actually vaporize everything. And
yeah,
I did that senior year of college, and within 2 days, I was like out of my mind.
yeah.
To the point that I had to like put it away. I was like, I can't handle this shit, dude.
Yeah, and now it's even stronger. Like today's weed is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, dude, I don't think the law is stopping people, so I don't get it. Make it legal and give people like access. Use some of the money you make from making it legal to give people access to help centers or inform the public, Like you shouldn't be able to get high and drive around or do anything crazy, but yeah. I think all drugs should be legal, but that's just me.
Yeah, but we have so many people that don't believe that will never happen.
Yeah, it's just kind of like even coke, like people are going to do coke. And now the fentanyl thing is so crazy, Like you have to buy a testing kit just to do drugs now because there's like a 10% chance you die every time you do a fucking 8-ball.
What an inconvenience, dude.
Yeah.
Do what the adults do. Get some whippets off Amazon. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
Do it in your basement when your fiance is gone. It's a good time.
I mean, that's the best way to get rid of the cartel. Just make everything legal. Then they're out of business.
Oh, I thought you meant to buy a bunch of whippets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's super illegal to do nitric oxide? Is that what the chemical is? It's whatever the dentists give you. NOS.
It was NOS, yeah.
The dentist, that's the same thing as laughing gas. It's the same exact thing.
Have you ever done that?
No,
Whippets?
I've never. Yeah, I've done whippets for sure. Just like once or twice. Not a fan. Don't like it.
It's
You
I
like
try not
huffing
to
that
buy.
shit though, don't you? You enjoy it.
Back in the day, I used to do it not regularly, but like, I mean, if I had a box, I'd go through a box.
Did
And
you
it's
buy
just-
a whole fucking tank once?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The box is over there. There's a freaking jelly donut canister filler right. I'm staring at it right now, dude.
Yeah, I remember you were into that. So, what's it feel like for you?
It's just like everything. It's gonna sound stupid, but basically, like everything starts vibrating. Like your eyes start vibrating. That's the way it feels.
Yep.
You kind of like lounge back in your chair.
Yep.
Your senses kind of like dip down below you. Everything seems like more bass and less treble.
Mm.
And it's just kind of like in your
I've
voice.
heard-
All of a sudden, your voice is real fucking deep. You know?
I've heard it's very bassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those that you have to accrue a certain amount before like you get to that level. So if you just do one, you're like, okay, well, I felt a little something. But my problem is I can do like 4 or 5 like back to back. And then all of a sudden it's like, and then I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like, but then you're high for like 10 seconds and it goes away. It's just like,
now, do you think you kill brain cells when you do that?
oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I got plenty to spare, man.
Well, here's the thing though. So if it's the same chemical the dentist gives you, like laughing gas, obviously it's like a slow release, but they do put the thing on you. So you're breathing a small percentage of it.
Yeah.
Like, and it kills brain cells. When you get like dental work done, are you killing brain cells? But they just write it off because it's medical. They're like, it's fine. Or
I don't know. I've never actually really looked into it because I used to talk to my buddy Tyler about it because he was the one that got me into it. And
Yeah.
And he would call it hippie crack. That's what he would refer to it as. So, but I've never actually like Googled if there's like health concerns with doing that. Because typically what you do is you fill the thing with cream and then you pressurize the chamber and then you fill it. So you're doing all this minus the cream. And then you just take the canister to the face, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard people describe it. They always say like Pac-Man. And everything turns into Pac-Man. It's like woo, 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 woo. Like that feeling.
Yeah, it's very like wavy and like size, like sonic.
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't really describe it.
What's the one that they give you when you go to the ER and you like broke your arm and it's like a horrible break and they have to reset it? Or after you see something traumatic, they'll give you something that kind of like erases your memory. Like you forget everything for the past hour and you trip balls, but they give it to you at the ER. Is that the same thing? Is it laughing gas? They give you like a heavy dose of something.
I don't think it's that must be something way more severe. I don't think I don't think doing whippets would make you do that.
It's something that they give you. That's the thing. We need a Googler for this show, but
Google it.
they give you something, and it's definitely a recreational drug also. But they give it to you when they like reset your limbs in the ER. Maybe it's ketamine. It's ketamine. I think it's ketamine.
Ketamine? Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. So it's kind of funny because I'm like scared to do drugs that are psychedelic and stuff. But if I broke my arm and went to the ER, I would get a heavy dose of ketamine and just be fucking tripping balls. Like, what the fuck's going on? And then they fucking snap my arm back into place and shit. Yeah.
Well, that's like, I'm sure you've seen the videos of people right after getting their wisdom teeth out where they're just like on another planet, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember that old video, Dave After Dentist? You ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Is this real life? Is it be like this forever? Yeah. Yeah, I've had a few surgeries, so I know what it's like waking up. I never remember waking up, but I remember like sitting in the room and just I remember my parents were there for one of them and they came in and I didn't know who they were. And I was talking to them. I'm like, who are you people? They're like, what are you talking? You don't know who we are? And then I started to realize who they were after another 5 minutes. I'm like, oh shit, I had no idea who you guys were.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's weird.
I wonder, like the process for how they figured out how much to give and if this is going to work. And
yeah, how
like
many people
times they
died?
they tried to put somebody like under and they accidentally kill them and they have to shoot
Yeah.
them full of adrenaline just to like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because anesthesia hasn't been like general anesthesia hasn't been around for that long. So who was the first guy they gave it to? Like, I wouldn't want to be the first guy. Like, I'm glad it's been around for a while now.
Modern medicine is like such a marvel that it's hard to believe that they had to get to a point where it was safe.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure the first person, they're like, all right, you have lung cancer. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, what's chemo? Chemotherapy is basically, we're going to pump your blood full of gasoline for a couple weeks. And if you survive, you're going to be a shell of a human. It's like, all right, here we go. Like,
goddamn.
I had to run a blood drive on Friday for work.
Oh yeah.
It was dumb, dude.
Yep.
Like 5 people showed up for work. It was such a waste of my time. But I was talking about it with my mom, and she said she can't give blood because she had chemotherapy.
Oh, so even after you're done, you can't?
Yeah, you can't still.
Really?
And then she also said, it's funny because there was a guy at work too that brought up the same story. He said, he's like, I can't give blood because I lived in the UK between 1985 and blah, blah, blah.
Huh.
He's like, do you know why? I'm like, yeah, because of mad cow disease. He goes, how do you know that? I'm like, because my mom had did the same thing.
Yeah.
But apparently,
so if you have mad cow disease, you can't donate blood.
Yeah. But the problem is they can't test for it. There's no test to see if you have mad cow disease.
Right.
So you could potentially be donating blood and have this disease and nobody would know.
Yeah. So if you're getting blood at the ER, it's like, oh shit.
But that was way before I was even born, so I don't even know how that works. Like I don't even know really what mad cow disease is. I remember what was it, bird flu when we were in middle school?
Yeah, and then swine flu and all that.
Swine flu,
yeah. H1N1. Yeah.
Talk about some shit I never wanted to hear again, dude. Jesus.
Yeah. That was like a big scare, the H1N1. And dude, that one was way worse than, well, not like spreading wise, but it was way worse than COVID. Like, we're getting canceled. COVID's the worst. Sorry, guys. Get vaccinated. Get your vaccines. But yeah, people got super sick from that. And healthy people too, not just fat and old people.
This is a very middle school thing to do, but I remember 7th grade social studies, we were talking about bird flu or swine flu, one of those.
Yeah.
And whenever I think of swine flu or whatever it is, I remember I had these black shoes, but they had white like rubber all the way around them on the bottom of them, like on the sides. And so on the left one, I had a blue pen, and I colored in the whole thing with blue pen. Yeah. And my right shoe was all red. So I'm walking around with freaking shoes colored in with pen.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know why I did it. I literally did it in the middle of school, and I was just like coloring on it as I'm like listening and like getting the heel and flipping my shoe around and doing this and that. And then I get home and I'm wearing these white socks. Dude, I had one blue sock, one red sock, and I was like, shit, my dad sees this, he's gonna flip. So I just threw them away.
Yeah.
And then I threw the shoes away. I'm like, God damn it, I ruined my shoes at school today, Dad. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's so funny because my parents were pretty strict too growing up, and the amount of like things that don't seem like a big deal that you would be so paranoid about getting in trouble for, like socks. Like those socks probably cost 10 cents back in the day. You know what I mean? But it's just you ruin your socks. Like my dad's gonna fucking kill me. I ruined these socks, You
ever have I remember coming home and where's your report card?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. They didn't give it. And I would like hide it under my mattress or hide it under my bed because I'd have like one bad grade and my parents are gonna murder me.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's not a big deal, dude. Chill out.
I couldn't get a C. Like if I had anything below a B, I would be in trouble for any class. Yeah. So I had like a C plus once in middle school, and I was shitting my pants. Like, literally like going home like, fuck, dude, my life is over. I got a C plus. Like, just that weight that you carry, and you have to get it signed by your parents, and you got to bring it back in. And I just knew I was fucked. My bedtime was 9, but it was about to be 8 for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. You got to wonder, like, is that good for a kid or is it bad? Because it's obviously good to have structure and it makes you better. But then again, like, think about the amount of stress we went through with strict parents, like, over things that you didn't really have to be that stressed out about. Because ultimately, having a C plus one time in algebra or whatever the fuck it was in middle school didn't affect my life at all. And it was like the biggest concern in my life for like 2 weeks straight. The amount of stress I had to have gone through as a fucking 10-year-old for no reason. What do you think about like strict parents? Obviously there's a limit, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm worried about it because like obviously you want to guide your child in the right direction and
Yeah.
push them to do the best they can. But like seeking perfection is not attainable. But
Right.
like that was the way I always looked at it as if I'm not getting 100, I like messed up.
Yeah.
So like middle school, high school, college, I went 3.8, 3.7, 3.6 for GPA.
Right.
So like I would come home and my parents would sit at the kitchen table with me, do homework with me, and like I would ask them. And
Yeah.
but I remember being in fucking high school, like literally fall asleep in my bed with my textbooks for math next to my European history textbooks, and I didn't get to either of them.
Yeah.
And it's like 4 a.m. It's like fuck, now I got to keep going. Like
Yeah.
I pass out at 2. It's just so stupid, dude.
I was so burnt out by the time I got to high school that I just stopped giving a fuck. And the second I didn't have to show my parents my grades anymore, like I was a straight A student until sophomore year of high school. Then I just skated by. I didn't give a fuck. And it's too bad because I could have gotten like scholarships and not have student loans now. Like think about, if I just actually tried, because that's when I should have tried, but instead I didn't for those 2 years and it fucked me over. I didn't get any scholarships. And then when I graduated college, I was like cum laude or whatever the fuck. Like I was like a 3.7 GPA when I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So I started trying again. Oh, I also cheated. It was fucking a joke. College was so fucking easy. Yeah, I took half of it online. I still got a bachelor's degree. But isn't it funny that cum laude, it has the word cum in it and it's spelled the same way?
Yeah. Like when she tells you to scream and you're like, I'm gonna come louder.
Yeah. What's
I gotta
cum laude? Like it's got to be Latin for like come louder or something. I don't know.
It must be. Did I tell you how I got caught plagiarizing in college?
No, you got caught?
Yeah. So I liked,
Christ.
so I did the film program at Keene and then I did safety too to actually get an actual job. But all the film shit was kind of like whatever. And there was one class, I think it was film theory, and it was just, you had to watch these like shitty movies and then write shitty essays. So what we did was everybody had to upload it to the site and you could look at other people's work
Yep.
to like for a reference.
Right.
So I did a copy and paste on one of those bitches,
Oh,
change around some shit, and I got caught.
Yeah.
Like next morning, she sends me an email like, "Come to my office, we got to talk." So what she had me do was, I had to do an additional essay on top of that, and it's funny how this topic came up. But she's like, "Do you know the band Limp Bizkit?" I'm like, "Yeah," because like I grew up on Limp Bizkit, like chocolate starfish, hot dog flavored water.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "I want you to do a critique of this music video and write a 7-page essay or something." I'm like, okay.
So your punishment was
problem-
reviewing a Limp Bizkit video?
So the problem was it was like very misogynistic and very sexist, and like it's basically like
Christ.
Fred Durst in the forest, and there's like a girl tied to a chair, and he's like yelling at her, and it's like, "Oh, I love you," and then like he like smacks her and all this like crazy shit.
Jesus.
So I'm watching this music video. I'm like, so you're telling me I gotta make up the biggest like bullshit approach to an essay to save my grade? Because obviously I would say the opposite of what I wrote, because
you're a Limp Bizkit fan.
but I'm writing this shit out and I'm like, so I have to think like the opposite of how I actually feel. And it was such a stupid, it was so difficult because I'd start typing something and be like, nope, backspace, because I can't,
Yeah.
I have my view, but not the paper's view that it needs to be. And it's like, it was fucking hard, dude. It really was difficult to do.
It's so funny that out of all the people and all the bands, you would have to write an essay critiquing how Limp Bizkit's bad. You know what I mean? That's like the universe testing you in a way.
I think it was Eat Me Alive. But yeah, the whole thing was like shot in the forest and there was like lights out there and it's like all like very like whimsical and he's just like yelling at her like, "I eat you," or "Eat You Alive." That was the song. "Eat You Alive."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat you alive. The Limp Bizkit voice. You don't really know why.
Limp Bizkit.
You want to justify ripping someone's head off.
God damn.
Yeah. Fred
Those guys
Durst.
are legends, dude. I still follow them to this day. I listened to I don't remember the name of the newest. Oh, Still Sucks. That's the new album. But I was listening to that yesterday.
Does it still suck?
Still Sucks. Yeah, that's the name of the album.
That's funny. Still sucks. Kind of like their music.
Fred Durst comes out. He's got like gray hair. He's got a perm.
Fred Durst has a perm.
He looks like a weird like porno dad. I don't know.
Yeah. Freddie Durst. Where was he from?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Okay. That makes sense. That checks out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got a
Man.
chainsaw. I skin your ass raw.
Dude, it's like that song, the whole song. Like, you'll be leaving with a fat lip. It's like, that's... like, if you think about it, it's kind of just like a whiny guy complaining about his bad day. And he's like, you better quit talking that shit. You'll be leaving with a fat lip. It's like, that's the threat. I'll be leaving with a fat lip. Like, that's the best you got?
It was just the time era, dude, because even we were talking about this with watching The Punisher, like with Emily. I started watching with her, and I'm like, holy crap, I forgot how violent this was.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and she's like, I can't believe this is like one of your favorite movies. And it's like, I'm thinking back, I'm like, no, I was really into this movie when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like, because it came out in 2004. So
yeah.
it's
So,
like, I'm
yeah.
thinking about it, and it's like, I listened to Limp Bizkit, I listened to whatever, and I watched The Punisher, and those were like such a violent, like,
Yeah.
it's not what I believe now, but like at the time, that's like, I can understand why there was such a cult following behind Limp Bizkit, because it was just a bunch of ugly white boys.
Yeah, screaming.
And they needed something to listen to.
Yeah. It's like that Fight Club mentality, same time era.
Yeah.
Like, fuck the world. We were promised something, you know? Angry middle-class white kids just screaming. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's kind of...
You're not special. Break something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was very violent. You know, that was like the beginning of like Quentin Tarantino movies. Pulp Fiction was late 90s. Just hyper violence, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird era.
Good times.
Yeah.
Weird times.
Weird times indeed.
Yeah.
You want to tie a bow on this thing and tell the creamers to go shit in their hat or what?
Yeah. How do you want to do this? You want to wrap it up and I'll do the final quote, or you want me to tell a creamy little story?
All right, tell a little tale. Spin a
So
yarn.
many moons ago, me and young Joshua were in the Isle of La Pan. We were climbing a tree. And like many trees, you climb them to the very tippy top. And sometimes when you get to the tippy top, you can't climb your way down.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is we prayed to the cream gods and we just let go.
Here we are.
Here we are today.
Indeed. I was like a cat up there. Couldn't get down. Had to call
God
the
damn
fire
it.
department.
Come get this pussy.
Come get this pussy. We'll see you in a week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Till then.
Stay creamy.
Heyo.